How's it going, everybody? KCG Trades here, back with another weekly watch list and stock market outlook video. I do want to mention I am 6 subscribers away from 800, so if you are watching this video and you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. And while you're at it, let's get a like down below and comment 3 stocks you're watching for the week. All right, let's get right into it. Taking a look at the Nasdaq composite, we did hit all-time highs, broke out of this nice consolidation for about 6 months, finally broke out, and tech looks to be leading this next move higher. We do have a lot of leaders showing themselves right now, and a lot of stocks very, very strong. In terms of the overall Nasdaq, it does look very good. Like I mentioned, we may be due for a little pullback just to retest the breakout levels and then go back higher. That would be the best case scenario. We do need a little reset after moving from the 1390s all the way to 14400s. So a small pullback that retests the breakout also coincides with the 10 EMA would be perfect. Obviously, that might not happen. We did get a lot of volume on Friday, but that was also due to rebalancing. So the volume is a bit skewed. So we're not too worried about the high volume on Friday, as a lot of stocks had that as well. But overall, I'm very bullish, like I've been mentioning for the past few weeks, few months. Very bullish for what's to come. Even though summer is usually a low volume environment, I do believe we are going to push higher, and especially with all the stocks that are showing amazing strength and amazing accumulation, I do believe we are still due for a power trend. So that's the Nasdaq. Looks very strong, just broke out of a 6-month consolidation, maybe due for a little retest, but regardless, I am very bullish. So if I take a look at the S&P, similar situation to the Nasdaq, we broke out of this 3-month consolidation, broke out into all-time highs. Good volume, obviously, because of the rebalancing, and it looks like it can continue pushing higher. But if it does get a pullback to the retest, to the breakout retest area, and then retest the 10 EMA as well, that would be very bullish as well. If we could continue higher, find support there. So it does look very good in the S&P and the Nasdaq composite. If we take a look at the Dow Jones, it is getting better as well. After undercutting this low, we reclaimed it very quickly the next day, back above all the moving averages and looking to retest these highs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we reclaim those highs as well. If we take a look at the IBD 50, still very choppy, but it did get above all the moving averages. Still a lot of sideways consolidation, no clear direction yet, so this is still not in a clear uptrend. But there are a lot of tech stocks, a lot of growth stocks starting to show that it's ready to continue higher. Take a look at the IWO, which is the Russell 2000 Growth ETF. It does look very strong compared to previous weeks. We are back above all the moving averages, and we bounced off the 10 and 21 EMAs here. We did find some resistance around the 314, 315 zone and closed around 312. So I wouldn't be supposed to a small pullback that just retests a 10 or maybe even 21 EMA, similar to what I was saying with the Nasdaq, and then continue higher. Once we get above this 314, 315 level, that would be very bullish for this ETF, as this is a little resistance zone. So if we get above that, that would be very bullish, especially if volume can accompany it, because obviously the closer we get to all-time highs, the more bullish. So yeah, well, I'm really watching for this 314, 315 level to see if we could get above it. But other than that, it is starting to bottom out nicely. We did get this undercut, rallied back above it, back above all the moving averages, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue higher. If we take a look at the IWM, which is the Russell 2000 ETF, this is still in the consolidation since beginning of February, but it does look strong. We did find some resistance around the 233, 234 level. So we had a little bit of a double top, found some support around the 50-day after undercutting it, and we retested that level again on Friday. We did get rejected by it once again, so maybe we could get a smaller pullback and then get some energy to go into all-time highs. So this is very close to breaking out into all-time highs, so this is definitely one to watch. After a 6-month consolidation, similar to Nasdaq, once we get above it, there's a good chance for it to be a nice trend moving forward. So lastly, if we take a look at the VIX, which is the volatility index, we did just make a new low after about a year, over a year actually, and we do get these random spikes. So this is just one to watch for. If we get a pullback in the overall market, the VIX will probably give us a little spike and then come back down, as what we've been seeing for the past few months. So overall, like I've been saying, I am very bullish of what's to come in the market. A lot of growth names are starting to lead the market again. New names are starting to emerge. Volume patterns are very significant in some of these names, as well as the overall market looks to be setting up for a new leg up. So like I said, I am very, very bullish, and hopefully we will get a great summer, great fall, great winter, and great rest of 2021. So in regards to this week's watch list, I do have 10 names that I'm watching for the week with good setups, good actionable setups. But I also want to go through some leaders that I'm looking at that don't necessarily have setups, but are showing amazing accumulation and are leading the market that you definitely want to pay attention to, because if it does give us a buy opportunity, we want to get into these strong names. The first one would be ASAN. If we take a look at the amazing volume patterns, amazing accumulation, strongest volume day in a while, 12 mil on Friday, went from 28 all the way to 63. Obviously, no entry point now. It is very extended, but if we could get some sort of pullback, some sort of flagging, some sort of basing action here, this is definitely one to pay attention to. We also have UPWK, which broke out of this nice consolidation zone on good volume, had an inside day on Wednesday, broke out and continued on Thursday, and had a nice little pullback on Friday. So no setup yet, but we do want to see how it plays out. Maybe we get a retest to the 51 zone, maybe we get a retest to the 10 EMA, or maybe we just go sideways for a few days. This is definitely one to watch to for the next coming days, next coming weeks. Another stock is ZIM, which is Zim Shipping Services. Broke out of this ascending triangle here on great volume into all-time highs. So this is definitely one to watch, see if it could get above the 50 zone and continue higher. Definitely a lot of strength in shipping services right now. And we also have Roblox. This is one I've been watching for quite some time. It did find support at the 50-day, undercut it and rallied back above for a retest of the 50-day and finally found some support. Got above the 10 and 21 EMAs, so that's good news. Now we're just finding support at the 10 and 21 EMAs, so I want to see if we could just continue going sideways, find some support around these EMAs and continue higher. We also have NVDA. Obviously, this has just been continued strength for the past few months and just continues higher along the 10 EMA. Found some support 10 EMA, continues higher. So now, like I said, we just need some basing period. I do believe it's due to split its stock soon. It already announced it a long time ago, so I think it's going to split it soon. So that's definitely one to watch as well. And the last stock I'm watching is SPCE, which is Virgin Galactic. This isn't really on my radar in terms of leaders, but the fact that it had amazing volume on Friday and had a huge day, 261 million shares being traded, and it's also very close to all-time highs, definitely has to be on your radar. I'm not sure if there was any news on Friday. I'm assuming there was, especially with the huge volume that accompanied with it, but this is just going to be on my radar just because of how big a day it had on Friday. So that's really what I'm watching for in terms of leaders. And also we have a bunch of leaders on my weekly watch list. So 10 names, like I mentioned, starting with Airbnb. So Airbnb is on my watch list pretty much every week, but for good reason. After undercutting and rallying this low here, it's been moving steadily higher above the 10 and 21 EMA, finding support here and building some sort of launch pad. We did get some resistance around the 50-day moving average, but if we could get above the 154 level on strong volume, get above the 50-day 21 and 10 EMA, like I said, on strong volume, it would be very bullish. We would have a lot of room to move upwards. There is obviously overhead resistance for whoever is holding around these levels, but if we could get above all these levels on strong volume, a lot of room to run, and the next resistance would be around the 182 level. So that's really what I'm watching for Airbnb. And the next stock I'm watching is CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike is one of my favorite setups going into next week. It has this cup formation here and it's starting to build out a handle. On Tuesday, it broke out into all-time highs on strong volume, and the next 3 days were just low volume, low range days, building out this handle. So essentially what I'm looking for is a break into all-time highs on strong volume, but I wouldn't be surprised if we first get a few more days of sideways action, maybe even just one more day, get the 10 EMA to get closer to the price action. Once we do that, let's get a rip into all-time highs. I am currently positioned in this stock, so I am potentially looking to add if we get a nice setup going forward. CrowdStrike and Zscaler are acting very strong in the cybersecurity space, so this is definitely one to watch moving forward. The next stock I'm watching is DoorDash. So DoorDash has been acting very strong for the past few weeks after getting above this 156 level and then getting above the 167 pivot level on strong volume. It's just been consolidating for the past week. I wouldn't be surprised to see it retest the 10 EMA or just go sideways for a few days. The volume patterns have been very significant for the past 2 weeks. Very strong green days with low volume pullback days. So if we could get maybe some sort of little wedge here to get to the 10 EMA or just go sideways for a few days, just for the EMAs to catch up to price, I'll be looking to enter essentially over the 180 level, or if we get a pullback, I'll be looking to buy around the 10 or 21 EMA depending how much we pull back. But everything right now with Dash looks very strong, and I'll be looking for this moving forward. Once we get above this 180 level, I wouldn't be surprised to see it hit the 200s very quickly. So that's really what I'm watching for with DoorDash. And the next stock I'm watching is DMTK. So I am very impressed with the action lately in DMTK, bottoming out nicely. We found support at the 200-day moving average and then just continued higher ever since. Now we're finding support off the 10 and 21 EMAs as we set up a nice little launch pad here. Friday was good volume also because of rebalancing, but we do have double inside days occurring here. We broke out above this little pivot here on strong volume, and then Thursday and Friday we had double inside days. Now we have this little wedge here. So essentially what I'm looking for is a break above the Friday's inside day. 46.70 is the level I'm watching for. If we get above that on strong volume, I do believe this is in for a good rip. Double inside days are very encouraging, showing the volatility contracting. So if we get above that on strong volume, I will not be surprised to see this get to the 50 level very quickly. So that's really what I'm watching for with DMTK. The next stock I'm watching is DocuSign. So DocuSign has been on an absolute tear the past few weeks. It didn't actually hit all-time highs, but it did get above that 275 consolidation zone, and it's been doing good, staying above it for the past 3 days. The volume patterns have been significant for DocuSign. So essentially now, since it is a bit extended, I want to see it stay above that 275 zone, but I also want to see it just consolidate, go sideways for a few days, maybe even a week. Wait until that 10 EMA can catch up to price. Wait until the 21 EMA can get closer as well. Just basically digest its strong gains. Moving from 193 all the way to 282 in a matter of weeks is very significant. So it does need time to just digest. But the strong move is had, also being in consolidation for about a year. I do believe this is ready to rip higher and move into all-time highs pretty soon. So this is definitely one to watch to see if we could get some consolidation for a few days, maybe even one more week. Wait till moving averages catch up to price, and then see if we can get a little launch pad going forward. So that's what I'm watching for. And the next stock I'm watching is GM. So GM is actually setting up for a little downtrend line breakout here. The past 3 days have been very tight action in terms of price and volatility. I did find some support at the 50-day moving average and it's moved higher. So now I want to see a breakout above this downtrend line here on good volume. Essentially what I'm looking for is a move above that 60-50 zone. If we could get above 60-50, get above this downtrend line on strong volume, we could get a little nice movement upwards. So that's really what I'm watching for with GM. Very simple. And if we could get that, I wouldn't be surprised to see it get into all-time highs in the next few sessions, maybe even a few weeks. The next stock I'm watching is Peloton. So Peloton is starting to come back to life nicely here after undercutting this 95 level on strong volume. I'm pretty sure we all thought it was the end of Peloton, but it recovered nicely, got back above it, undercut and rallied it, and starting to chug higher. It is back above all the moving averages and right above the 200-day moving average right now. We did have a Friday inside day, so essentially what I'm watching for is to get above this consolidation zone on strong volume. Really what I'm watching for is a move above the 125, 126 level on strong volume. If we could do so, there's a lot of room to run back upwards, and I wouldn't be surprised to get this new uptrend started if we could get above that 126 level. That is very key, so that's really all I'm watching for. If volume can accompany it, that would be very bullish, but essentially that's what I'm watching for. The next stock I'm watching is Shopify. So Shopify has been one of the strongest stocks as of late, has this cup formation as well in the past 3 days. Has been creating this handle. The handle has been accompanied with lower volume, so that's good to see. It did bounce off the 10 EMA perfectly, so that's another bullish factor going into this. So essentially what I'm looking for, after creating this little flag handle here, I want to see if we could get above the 1490 level on strong volume. If it does so, that would be very bullish to see if it could go into all-time highs. Or I want to see it continue building out this handle, digest the gains it just had, get the 21 EMA closer to the price, see if it could just continue to hold above the 10 EMA. That would be very significant. And if we could do so, I want to see a nice little volatility contraction, maybe add at the 10 EMA, and then see if we could go into all-time highs. So those are the two options I'm watching. Maybe some consolidation to the 10 EMA or just a blast back above this little flag here to all-time highs. So those are the two options I'm watching for. And the next stock I'm watching is Snapchat. So Snapchat has been acting very well for the past few weeks. Just broke above the 66 pivot level on good volume. Thursday and Friday were more just consolidation days, no real action there. Friday we had an inside day, so moving forward, I want to see it possibly retest that 66 level and bounce forward, or even just continue moving forward from here. It's not really extended at all, so I want to see if it could retest that 73 level in the next few days, maybe even weeks. But essentially, after consolidating for about 6 months, the bigger the base, the bigger the breakout. So it is ready to break out into all-time highs, and I will be prepared for it. So that's really what I'm watching for. And the last stock I'm watching for the week is TTD, the trade desk. So TTD looks amazing after breaking out above this downtrend line here on strong volume. It did get above the 200-day moving average as well, so now it's back above all of its moving averages. Friday was essentially an inside day, even though it's not technically one. But now I just want to see the moving averages catch up to price here, just digest the huge move that it had. But it does remind me of DOCU, the first day it broke above here and just continued higher. Obviously, it's not the exact same, especially with earnings and everything. But the fact that it broke out above the downtrend line, super strong volume, almost 40 million. Next day, inside day, was almost 12 million as well. That shows this stock is being accumulated. So I want to see if there's any opportunity to get in. Obviously, I don't want to chase when it's a little bit extended. So I want to see if it can maybe pull back a few days, get a little flagging action here, or maybe a few inside days, and I'll be looking to enter. That's essentially what I'm watching for with TTD, and that's my watch list for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, share with your friends and family, and like I said, if you haven't subscribed already, please get me to 800. I'd really appreciate it. But other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful week. Hope you kill it in the markets. Take care.